Welcome back to Ultralife today. Riveting conversation with our new friend Shirley Williams.
It's a cliffhanger. It is. You guys,
right.
If you guys listened to last week, literally, we've got a Shirley's dad, or is your father-in-law? Is your father-in-law in a
memory wing, a
memory
nursing
wing
facility,
right? Completely not able to take care of himself. Next day, after getting a unit of Infinity Matrix, is dressed himself, standing in the parking lot looking for his car.
Less than 24 hours.
Yep, telling the staff, "I need to get home because my wife's going to be mad at me."
What was the continuation of that, by the way, Shirley? Was he literally saying it's time to get back to work and start living life?
Did you take him home?
Was that what was happening?
What we did is all of us got up out of bed. We couldn't quite go to sleep after that, after this call at 1 o'clock in the morning. So we rounded everybody up and we took off and we went to go visit him. And it was the wildest thing to walk into this room where my father-in-law had not known who we were for quite some time. And we walk in, and there we are with my mother-in-law. It took us a little bit longer to get her out the door, but once we arrived, we walked in, and my father-in-law he was actually sitting in a chair, and he had his arms folded, and we walked in the door, and he looked at my mother-in-law and said, "Where have you been?" And she looked at him and she said, "What on earth are you talking about? Where have I been? Where on
have you
earth
been?
have you been?" And
There we
so,
go.
and as he turned to us and as he called us by name, it was as though we received our loved one back from the dead.
Absolutely.
Wow.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
You're listening to
So
Shirley
incredible.
Williams. The product is Infinity Matrix stem cells, and healing-revolution.com is how you can reach out to her and find out. So, Shirley, you've been doing this now 6.5 years. We've talked about administering this in the form of an injection. I'm assuming no adverse events or side effects take place, or do they ever take place when a person is administered? Do they have to watch an individual for a certain period of time? I mean, your father-in-law's experience should have been watching him, right? He might have
That's
actually
right.
stolen a car in the parking lot and tried to find you guys.
Wow. Well, of
That
course,
would have been funny,
there's
actually.
there's always people that maybe their bodies have not been functioning well. They may experience redness at the injection site.
Okay.
If their bodies have been at a place where mine was, where all of my organs were shutting down and where your bodily functions are not working, many people will notice, hey, things start kicking back and they're working quickly. So,
Yeah.
um, we see a lot of things. I love to see that people are not harmed. It is
Hmm.
something that just goes after the degeneration. And if people have an allergy, because, with the requirements with the FDA, because as I said earlier, we meet and exceed all FDA requirements, everything that's currently regulated. Uh, and again, let me reiterate that I love to talk about this is beyond stem cells. I don't even like to put the name stem cells because I think stem cells have been hijacked throughout the entire industry and given a bad rap. But what we see is something that is above and beyond, because now the scientists have been able to separate the red nucleated blood cells and leave us with a product where we don't have to be concerned about our DNA transferring or us getting
Okay.
something. This is
Hold on.
heavily
Okay. So
screened.
why is this on taking out the red nucleated blood cells? Why is this so important? I mean,
Well, because that's
I
what
mean,
used to cause a
go ahead.
rejection issue.
Okay. So those are the cells that your body could react against, and potentially those are the cells that could implant their own DNA into the host body, correct?
Right. And then, two, you have to look at the volume of the
Hmm.
amount of therapy that is received. This is all about activating the body's internal repair system. So you're not getting enough of anything that would actually transfer or switch over your DNA. So it is a very, very safe, very powerful, very potent therapy. And again, the results are what I love. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a cellular biologist. I try to stay away from a lot of that. But let me tell you,
We
I have
understand.
seen some things that are just mind boggling. I normally even preface a lot of people as I begin to share things with them. I will tell them, listen, I'm about to tell you something that is going to sound way too good to be true,
Right.
but
So I
let
want
me let you know it's powerful.
Yeah, so I want to reiterate something, and I want to inject a phrase to maybe help people understand. So you are saying individuals, depending on where they are at their health, how deteriorated they may be, I like to use the word healing crisis. Is that okay, Shirley? In other words, an individual may get stem cells, and it may be 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, maybe kind of like you in that 90-day period of time where you ultimately went from basically being immobile to being able to actually get your mobility back. Is that a fair
That
thing to
is
say?
that is correct. And we just
Okay.
pray that we will have such a voice that we'll be able to connect with people before they reach a time of no return. Because some people, let's face it, we'll all die one day
Well, it's
of
surely, it
a
sounded
in our
like you
mortal
were
body.
beyond the point of no return when you started your therapy. I mean, and did you still
Well,
have active cancer when you started?
absolutely. I mean, it was riddled all throughout my body.
So, I wanted to take a step back here just for a moment, if you don't mind. How did I mean, I've always kind of had a sense that having an active cancer and getting stem cells was kind of contraindicated, that somehow the stem cells wouldn't necessarily mix well with a cancer being in the body. Am I mistaken, or did it actually have a potential therapeutic benefit in your body?
Well, let me answer it this way. I
Okay.
do not believe that I would be alive today here talking to
Right, that's
you
true.
had there not been some sort of an intervention, whether mine was supernatural. Now, of course, the medical staff will address everything if people are currently undergoing
Any kind of treatment, right?
chemo or things like that. Many times it's a good place and a safe place, let's say. In my opinion, again, would be maybe they finish up their chemo, they finish up whatever they're doing, and then they could consult with their medical professionals and with ours as well. And then if they all make an agreement and decide to move forward with it, then that's great. But no one from our company would be ones to take over as their primary care physician. Again, this is all a supportive therapy to
Sure.
just help people. I give people an opportunity to fight and give people an opportunity to live. So that's what was given
And
to
so
me.
the activity could be all sorts of things, and you've seen stuff happen all across the spectrum in people's bodies. It's just wild. I mean, I'm feeling
Right.
like how we felt in the early days when we had curcumin and we were getting these,
Right.
incredible responses for the people,
Yeah.
and that was just around inflammation and things like that.
Right.
But it's true. I'm kind of flabbergasted
Yeah.
in a
So,
little bit here.
so Shirley, I know there is no such thing as a one size fits all. And if there's one thing I've learned in my passion for what should be mainstream health, unfortunately is called alternative health.
Yeah.
And that is there is no one size fits all. There was a time in my life when I was younger and I'm like, you need to take these vitamins and these trace minerals, and you need to do this, and the macronutrients and the micronutrients, and everybody should eat this way. And I learned that is so wrong. Everybody's different. So when it comes to infinity matrix stem cell therapy, I know you can't say it's pretty much going to happen this way all the time or that way. But the big question in people's minds right now is going to be how often would I need to do it?
Hmm.
How expensive is it? How expensive is it compared to other stem cell therapies that are out there? Because I know you continue to say beyond stem cell. And so, I'll do my homework so the next time we
So.
have you back to see are there really any other people competing out there with
Well,
you?
so a PRP's, I know Brian Frank will do a PRP, and it's somewhere between $800 and $1,200 for like a 2 or 3 uh, period intervention,
Right.
which is different. That's
Right. And keeping in mind that is a very targeted therapeutic historically to a
and
joint,
yeah,
right?
and that's not
Yes.
injecting stem cells into the
Right.
joint. That's actually injecting a solution that
It's activating.
causes
Yeah.
your own body stem cells to activate in
Right.
that space.
So on the how often, can you be general here, or would you say you see something taking place, Shirley, where if a person is, I mean, you're a great case. You were so degenerated, and yet you say over a period of 6.5 years, only 2 units, 1 unit, and then a half unit, and then a half unit again at another time. Is it just literally soup to nuts what you see out there. In other words, someone has a mild condition and they may require several units over a period of time. Someone
Wow.
has a very degenerative condition like you, and they only have 1 or 2 units. What are your thoughts?
Well, again, based upon the medical staff's observation and upon their experience, they would be the ones that would make that determination. But I'll just kind of give you an idea.
Give us some
I
anecdotes.
was,
Yeah,
I remember I was about 79 pounds whenever I received it.
right.
Wow.
So it's normally done based upon weight. The majority of people, a normal average person, would normally receive around 2 units of therapy, and 2 units of therapy would run about 6,500. Some people, if their weight was lower, it would run about 3,500. So I believe that this is a very affordable, safe therapy for most people. Can come up with that type of money or come up with a payment plan or something to be able to do this. But again, it all depends upon the person. We've had people that have had a lot of injuries to their joints. They've been involved in a lot of sports. Let me just give my husband, for instance. He
Oh,
played a lot of rugby, a lot of soccer. He rode a lot
Oh,
of
one of those
horses,
really mild
bumped
games
from
that doesn't
those,
ever hurt
yeah.
your body.
yeah.
Yeah,
Ring
Yes,
around the rosy kind of thing.
absolutely. Yes. So my husband, he loves to get one full round, which for him is 2 units. He wants to do that at least once a year because he said it makes him feel like he's gone back in time, and he loves to feel the vibrance, the energy, the level of energy, and the clarity of mind is
I can only
powerful.
imagine.
No pain in his joints. So uh, all of those things I know would play a part in it. We have many people that can afford it that say, hey, I just want to receive this as often as I can. And many of the medical staff will administer it, 60 days, 90 days, every
Wow.
6 months, every year. Some people will receive it every 1 or 2 years. So really, it's going to be dependent upon the person. Some of the people, we've had them come in every year just because they're looking at it as just a
Long-term
wellness.
thing. Yeah.
Right,
Or a
right. And they're
prophylactic,
just
a
all about,
maintenance, a
right,
prevention.
absolutely.
Sure.
Just
So,
what can
will
we do to
you,
regenerate?
can you share how much typically a unit costs for a person, or is that something you
No,
keep kind of?
No,
she
yeah,
mentioned
absolutely.
2 units being
3,500 to
$6,500
6,500.
for 2 units.
Okay. And
So
and do you
35 to
and do you
6,500.
have, if somebody's like fixed income and they're not doing well, do you have any like either financial aid or other options for somebody that it's in dire need but maybe can't afford that amount of money?
There's plans out there. We even have referral programs. We have payment plans. We set up a nonprofit organization. So you find out that our prices out there for our therapy are much less than most of the people offering even something similar. But again, as I've mentioned earlier, we've never seen anything else out there on the market that even holds a candle close to what we see as the results that are being offered through Infinity Matrix.
So Shirley, we'll be going into the next segment here in about 30 or 45 seconds. I want to
Yeah.
close this out and let people know how to get in touch with you. I also want to go back to something you just said, and that would be, I really want to hear definitively what maybe separates you from other people out there. So again, I'm Josh Bellew. This is Ultralife Today. I'm here with Adam Payne. I'm here with Shirley Williams. We're going to be right back, but you can contact Shirley by going to healing-revolution.com. That's healing-revolution.com, or the phone number 432-837-4207. Ultralife Today. We'll be right back.
Our mission is to take nature's most beloved botanicals and enhance them with our liquid protein scaffold technology. This helps it reach your cells faster and better. With exponentially enhanced bioavailability, you'll feel better every day. Ultra Botanica, the feel-good curcumin.
Welcome back to Ultralife Today. If you haven't had your seatbelt fastened, or if you haven't unfastened it
You
and
need
leapt
to.
out of your chair yet,
You got to.
yeah, you need to do one of those two things, because we've been having a fascinating conversation with Shirley Williams, a lady you can reach at healing-revolution.com. That's healing-revolution.com. The product is Infinity Matrix Stem Cell Therapy, and Shirley herself, Adam, as we have discovered in this incredible interview, has had her own unique experience, and in 6.5 years, she's actually only had 2 units of stem cells, and yet she came from what we would call basically a beyond death's door experience
Fully
to
calcified
obviously
liver.
being a vibrantly healthy lady. And now she's having to give her husband stem cells so that he can keep up with her.
And I think it's fair for us to mention here. Shirley's not paying us for this. Is not an advertorial kind of
Right.
thing. We're not getting any revenue from either directing people to Infinity Wellness. We're just interviewing Infinity Wellness because I think it's dang interesting.
It's relevant
It really
content
is.
that is life changing. And I love
I
something
mean,
that
really,
Shirley said.
we have to explore this
Right.
because, I started off this whole broadcast saying I was actually a little skeptical. I've heard a lot of people talking about Infinity Wellness here in the state, and some people have been reporting some crazy results that they've been getting. Other people have been like, I did it, and I guess I'm feeling better. Yeah, I'm doing okay, but they didn't have any kind of like, the sun coming out on a
Yeah,
beautiful.
and I happen to know 2 people that were life changing,
Yeah.
so it is unusual. And then now 3 with Shirley,
Yep.
and she's telling us the truth about her husband. So
Well, I mean, he's got
Fun,
vim and
fun.
vigor, and
Right.
he's skiing. He's keeping up
I
with
hope he's
physical
given
activities.
up rugby. Has he given up rugby? I hope he has,
Why would
Yes,
he?
I actually convinced him.
because
to do
it's just
so.
it's bone
brutal?
jarring. You'll break something.
Yeah,
It's
maybe
crazy.
maybe it's into that.
But he
Anyway,
still
Shirley.
likes soccer.
Oh,
Okay,
soccer.
very good. Well, Shirley,
Yeah,
welcome back
yeah.
for our final segment with you, and we've danced around this topic, and you've even alluded to it just as we were closing out the last segment, and that is you're looking at the infinity matrix stem cell, which you say beyond stem cells. You've coined that phrase. Why do you determine that the process that maybe is proprietary? I don't know if there's a patent,
Or
if
maybe
there are trade
patented.
secrets or something. Why do you look at Infinity Matrix as a product, and then having looked at other products out there say, we are beyond stem cells?
Yeah, we are different in a relevant way. So help us understand.
Okay, well let me just kind of lay a foundation here for you. So when we were born, we had 1 in every 10,000 cells were stem cells. By the time that we reach the age of a teenager, we have 1 in every 100,000 cells are stem cells.
Mm.
Once we reach the age of 30, 40, 50, we're looking at about 1 in every 500,000 cells are stem cells, depending upon trauma, medications, sicknesses, what you've been exposed to. By the time that we reach the age of 80, you're looking at about 1 in every 2 million cells are stem cells. So really the approach of the healing-revolution.com, that's the name of our company. Again, healing-revolution.com. We're offering a product that has changed and transformed so many lives. It's simple, it's safe, it's effective, it's affordable for most, and it is delivering, as my husband would say, give me a refill. So it's giving us an opportunity to have a refill, to see our bodies that are able to receive a therapy that is able to go after the degeneration, after the breakdown, after the inflammation in our bodies, to help our body to build, repair, and regenerate. These are also immunomodulatory. So it's like having our body into a point of actual reset and turn on the body's ability to fight again and bring forth this restoration in our bodies. But I think one thing that really separates us from every other company out there is truly the results. The
Okay.
results are something that I have never seen or heard from. I had worked with other stem cell therapy companies before, but I heard a lot of hype, but I did not see the results. And now I see people's lives that are transformed. I'm seeing people get a quality of life back. My
Hmm.
family has been affected more than anything that I
Certainly
ever dreamed.
has.
I would probably not have multiple members of my family here today. Let me just even share, for instance, I have a son. Our son is 25 years old. He had been exposed to black mold 3 years
Mm.
ago. We went through every specialist. They did all types of things. Neurologically, we knew something was wrong. He went from a college graduate to not being able to decide what he would
Oh,
eat if we went
yeah.
to a
Black mold
restaurant.
is a bad deal. Looking
Everything
at you,
began to
Josh.
misfire in his body. And whenever we began to see everything begin to, I mean, he was in a major state of a breakdown,
Mm.
depression. We couldn't figure out what was going on. We kept praying, God, show us what to do. Help us, Lord. We don't know what to do. And we knew that we were led again to receive Infinity Matrix for our son. He received the therapy. Within 90 days, we had our son back in full, completely restored, no signs or symptoms of anything in the past. And now he's learning to become a pilot. He is just incredibly turned around. And to see our son come back to us, these have been so powerful. How could I not help but share with everyone? I have seen some of the most tremendous, unexplainable by medical science, but I call this God's medicine because I've never seen anything touch lives and transform lives like Infinity Matrix.
You have so much that's going on close to home as it relates to relatives, and I'm sure
Well, your
friends and loved
son,
ones as well. I'm curious, how quickly did you see your son begin to turn the corner related
yeah,
to,
interesting.
because yeah, I've had an experience with Black Mold myself in the last couple of years, and I've read some horror stories about individuals becoming detached mentally and having all kinds of almost like dementia-like, things, forgetting their education and things that they were able to do. How quickly did your precious son begin to see some changes
Wow.
after he was administered stem cell?
Well, within the first 3 weeks, we would see like a glimpse every so often. We would see, oh my goodness, it would be like I would have just a window and I would see him coming back. And then after a couple of months, we began to see more and more and more windows. And after about 90 days, we said, wow. Whenever he was not coming and saying, Mom, Mom, help, something's wrong. Mom, I can't explain it. Mom, something's not right. And then I would see him say, hey, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And he got to a point where he wouldn't even drive because he was concerned for the neurological disconnects. And he
Of
said,
course.
I'm concerned about everything. And now he is fully vibrant, back to total function. And we're just so grateful. Now, my
So,
son, who, again, he's received 2 complete rounds, well, for his weight, 2 complete rounds within the last I believe 3.5 years now. So
and
that
that
was
would
a
be four
total of
units,
two
right?
units. No, it
Oh,
was
just
actually
just
for
two
his
units.
weight. Yeah, for his weight, it was two
Okay.
units. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. So,
Wow.
So I hear this 90-day window popping up a
mhm.
lot. I've heard it among friends. I think it's even something that you may have, or other representatives
Yeah.
of the healing-revolution.com have mentioned. Is 90 days kind of one of those things where you want to set an expectation with people? Surely it's like, don't try to judge what's going to happen. Give it 90 days. Is that important?
90 days is kind of an overall average, but some people, their bodies may be dealing with many things, and the stem cells may be kind of like a racquetball, running around the body saying, oh my
Mm.
goodness, there's so much going on. So some people we've
Sure.
seen no changes more or less until around 6 months, and then all
Okay.
of a sudden they wake up and everything has changed. The majority of people,
Intriguing.
again, will notice within about 90 days. But I have people that are 3 years out. I just received a phone call from a woman the other day, and she said, Shirley, I just want you to know that I received Infinity Matrix 3 years ago. I have dealt with bladder incontinence for years. And she said, I just want you to know my bladder is working fully now. And she said, I'm free from depends. And I was like, well,
Oh,
yay,
that's
God,
awesome.
Wow.
that's a
That
huge
that's
thing.
that's
Indeed.
a that's a huge
Yeah.
thing.
That is
It just,
huge, huge, huge.
it's something that we're continuing to see where people are waking up and saying, I just cannot explain it, but I have no pain in my
Mm.
joints anymore. All the
It,
pain
it's
just
it's
left.
this is it's truly incredible the kinds of things. Is there a criteria for filtering and selecting stem cells?
Yes, there is. And in fact, we have the highest standards for this type of therapy as well. The FDA requires 7 different screenings, but our company actually, again, we're above and beyond. We do 18 different screenings for this type of therapy to make sure we have a very pure, a very safe, again, a robust therapeutic approach for regeneration as these cells are released. We want to make sure that there's nothing that could possibly be there they do go through a real strong screening, even with the mother. As the mother is carrying the baby in the first trimester, she has to begin a series of blood tests, a lot of questionnaires, has to submit to a certain type of diet. And then anything, because I was talking to one of the scientists one day and I said, well, what if one of the moms were to lie? What if they didn't tell you the truth about something? And they said, oh, don't worry, it will show up in the blood. There is life in the blood. Everything will show up in the blood. We know everything from every type of a vaccine, every sickness, if they're on medication, all of these things will show up in the blood. So again, our criteria is tops out there. So I'm very, very grateful and honored to be not only a recipient of the Infinity Matrix, but also to be a spokesperson to reach out and tell people there really is hope to live life again. And I love hearing the responses. So many people call me and say, Shirley, thank you for telling me about Infinity Matrix. Thank you for just sharing this healing revolution with me, because I'm one of those lives that's been changed. I've been given my life back. I've been regenerated. So I rejoice every day.
So,
Wow.
so I don't want to throw a big bucket of water on what's going on here, but I'm thinking to myself as you're talking just now, Shirley, what if 1 million people overnight heard about Infinity Matrix and they all wanted to get stem cells? What is the supply versus the demand, and what's the tipping point there? And is there going to come a day in the not too distant future where people are unable to get them?
Well,
That's a tough question, isn't it?
it is a tough question, and I don't know that I'm the right person to ask,
Okay.
to even answer
Fair
that.
enough.
But
Fair enough.
what I will say is, hey, we have an opportunity today, and
Okay.
don't pass the opportunity that we have to receive this type of regeneration. So we pray every day that God will continue to protect the opportunities that we have in these United States of America, and that God will continue to give us the open door of opportunity to receive this therapy here on our soil. Because had I had to go to another country, I would have never made it, and I wouldn't be here
Right.
speaking with you.
Yeah, and we also recognize God has a unique way of doing math that can multiply things.
1
And
plus
so
1 equals
many,
infinity.
yes,
Yeah.
through many unique ways. So anyway, you have been spending time with me, Josh Bellew.
And Adam Payne over here. It's been truly remarkable. I think, I want to know more. So we're going to have to bring Shirley back.
We will.
And do you guys have any second generation products that you're developing? Is it still and will forever be Infinity Matrix? Do you have Infinity Matrix 2 coming, or what's next for you guys?
Well, let's say that I'm under a very strict confidentiality agreement, and whenever I'm released to share, I will be the first one to share.
Okay, so there
Lovely.
is something up and coming, and so we're gonna when you're ready
Adam's
to share.
making that assumption.
I am. But when you're ready, we'd like to be one of the first people to be able to share that. So just let us know, would you?
So once again, this is ultralifetoday.com. You're listening to Adam Payne, CEO of Ultra Botanica, lead inventor of our amazing LPS technology for
The
driving
curcumin.
polyphenolic compounds into your
The
body.
curcumin you can
curcumin
feel.
You can feel.
Yep.
This has been Shirley Williams, healing-revolution.com. That's healing-revolution.com. Phone number is 432-837-4207. Shirley, more than anything, it's been nice to become your friend off air. Looking forward to meeting you in person. I know you're just a state away. I'm down there a lot, and we talked about getting together. Can't wait to do that. We will see you on the next episode of Ultra Life Today.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Shirley.